welcome to For the Story, the only podcast that's talking shit behind your back. My name's Avery.
And I'm Ash. This week, we watched Crawl. Actually, no, I take that back. We watched Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Oh my god. So close to Beetlejuice, but not really.
But actually,
this movie wasn't like
actually like Beetlejuice. And I will discuss that later.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, great. So no, we watched It Chapter 2. It Chapter 2. Gotta enunciate that.
It, Chapter 2.
You have to you have to put emphasis on it. Otherwise, the what you're trying to say kind of goes, without emphasis.
Just emphasize random words. We watched It Chapter.
It Chapter 2. It Chapter 2.
It is.
Sounds like somebody from Twin Peaks.
It's iambic pentameter, man. We're like Shakespeare, only like
oh my
less
god,
talented.
The only podcast that's in iambic pentameter.
Can you imagine?
That sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I think I'd have some kind of aneurysm.
Oh yeah. So with the listeners, people will be like, "This is unlistenable."
Well, to be fair,
the only podcast that's unlistenable.
Yeah, that's always accurate.
Yeah, yeah, that hasn't changed.
Keeping up that classic content.
Beautiful. Yeah. Right out the gate, before we forget again, like we did last episode, we do want to say,
if a cop pulls you over, never say that you committed a crime, because they're trying to get you to...
Exactly.
Right? That's what
If a cop pulls you over, try to convince him to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. Because
roll a persuasion
might
check.
do it.
Yeah, do you know why I pulled you over, sir? Well, I'll tell you if you rate this podcast 5 stars.
He's like, damn it, he got me again. Another one of these kids.
Yeah, but cops have a lot of rules. They're like, what's something that has a lot of rules? Genies. I feel like genies have rules.
Genies have a lot of rules. Yeah. Vampires have a lot of rules.
They can't knock twice, otherwise they have to eat silver.
Yeah, I forgot about that classic rule. Speaking of silver and vampires and subsequently werewolves, I would like to talk about a movie that I watched this week that I really want to get into before we really start churning along with It Chapter 2, because we have a lot to talk about with It Chapter 2.
It's a 24-hour movie.
The movie's 36 hours long, and it's only advertised as 3 hours, but they trap you there. You're not allowed to leave, and once you get out of the theater, you realize it's Tuesday.
My theater had a guy with a halberd by the door, and I'm like, "Sir, I need to urinate." And he's like, he's of the he's a Jabba the Hutt. What's Jabba the Hutt's race? Is he just
He's just a Hutt.
So his race is Hutt?
Yeah, they're called the Hutts, and they're from like the planet Hutto or something like that.
God, George Lucas had a fucking stroke in the middle of writing that lore.
I don't know. I think he just he came up with it on the spot, and he's just like, he's a Hut. Jabba the Hutt.
All those PAs are like, Mr. Lucas, we really recommend you take an improv class, and he's like, no, I got this. He's a Hutto. He's from Hutto.
It looks great. They speak Huttese. Which sounds exactly like the Twilight language. It's just like it's like that.
Oh god.
Speaking of Hutts, Bill Hader does an excellent job of the Hutt impression.
We all knew this.
Yeah. So I think maybe I've seen him do that before going into this movie, but that's okay.
I think that he did some kind of fun thing where he's some political figure who's abhorrent, and he does the Jabba the Hutt voice on Saturday Night Live, and it's pretty choice.
That's awesome. That is just so good. I'm glad. I'm really
Probably
glad.
Ted Cruz would be my guess.
Yeah. Oh my God, Ted Cruz is probably a Hutt.
He looks kind of like a Hutt. No shade.
What the
so
good. Solo.
I just want someone to
Banda Wookie.
I just want someone to quote fucking Star Wars on the Senate floor. Is that too much to add? I don't like Star Wars, but I feel like I'd like it more if that happened.
Yeah, or a senator's just and as Yoda said, let there be light. And as Master Yoda said, when in Rome.
I just want one of the senators to just like, I have the highest midichlorian count of anyone in this fucking room, dude.
And then like lose his shit and go, bah! And then take off his shirt.
And someone tries to whisper away from their mic, but
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh
I think he
God.
killed some
Is he
young.
okay?
He killed younglings.
The Democrats are just so ridiculous this year.
The fall fashion line's terrible. Anyways, so you watched something involving werewolves?
Goddamn right. I think it came out in 1994. Give me a second here. I actually X'd out of the thing. I think it was 1994, but it's called Bad Moon. I got to see who directed it because I thought it was Roger Corman, but I think I'm wrong.
Sweet.
Give me a sec. Yeah. So Bad Moon, 1996. It's not even an hour and a half long.
Good.
It's 1 hour and 20 minutes
So it's not a
long.
movie, per your parameters.
So it's not a feature-length film,
Not a
right?
real movie.
The director is Eric Red, so it's not Roger Corman at all. It's somebody totally different. It only pulled in $1.1 million in the box office. Nobody saw it. It's not very good. But it has a pretty cool puppet. Like, actually, like, legitimately cool puppet.
Nice.
And they have a dog named Thor. So there you go.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
Greek god, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, Greek, I think. Almost assuredly. And nothing to do with Norse mythology, I
That's
don't
not
think.
a real word, dude.
Or comic books.
no,
Norse.
mythology. Come on, dude. I know what a Norse is.
Mythology.
It's yeah,
okay.
dude. They race them at the track. I know what a fucking Norse is.
Dude, but like this puppet looks pretty good. If you guys want to like look and see what good practical puppets can look like, Google some images for the werewolf in Bad Moon because it looks pretty dope. It didn't move like it was real, but it looked cool in static shots. So there you
Looking
go.
at it right now. It looks
Yeah.
like
There's some shots that it was really effective.
no, I'm looking at the front of it.
Okay.
It looks like a raccoon that's also a grandmother. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, the eldest raccoon.
Grandma raccoon.
One thing I noticed, I think this came out around, like, kind of after the werewolf hype of the 80s. So, like, American Werewolf in London is the closest comparison I can make. But it seems like whoever directed this movie was a big fan of that movie. So that's kind of the impression that I'm getting, at least. But they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
pretty
pretty sweet. I'm looking at photos.
Yeah, I
of
just
it.
think werewolves are fucking cool. So I'm all about that.
I need you to explain that to me. Like, it's not that I disagree. I just don't think I understand why they're cool.
I've thought about it before, and I think it's just like, it's like the Jekyll Hyde kind of situation, right? So it's just like you could be a normal person, but like once a month you get to just balls to the wall, turn into like this crazed, vicious monster that's virtually unstoppable. You know, it's just you're half man, half wolf.
I guess.
It's fucking cool.
That's just me in the gym, bro.
Right? It's just like, yeah, it's just like you have this dark side that only comes out that only you know about.
Outside.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say I know werewolves aren't real, but girls would totally be into werewolves if they were. So
You keep making these really crazy statements, Avery, and acting like they're just like normal, and I just don't know what to do at this point, man. Like, do I need to have an intervention, or
he's worried.
like, yeah, no.
That's right. Mayonnaise is a vegetable, Ash. Anyway, moving on. Have you watched any interesting movies in the past week?
Yeah, well, it's been less than a week, but
Yeah.
a movie came up on my feed on Netflix called Heretics. It was a Canadian horror movie.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I was immediately like, this is going to be the greatest movie of all time. And like I love Canadian things.
Yeah.
I love watching like Canadian MasterChef because it's like so much less like competitive, and then also like they say ridiculous things. They're just like, I just really hope the judges like enjoy my dish. I think I worked really hard on it, and I'm just like, oh, you guys are so cute. And that,
That's so
but
nice.
this movie is just like great, where like, you know, they're like, the whole plot is like a girl was on an altar, and then a bunch of dudes in like paper mache masks that were made at a community college art class like slit their necks around her, and then she's traumatized. She goes to like a trauma thing, and like her girlfriend's like, her dad used to whip her, and it's like really weird, and then she gets abducted again by someone from that same cult. And the
Whoa.
girlfriend's like going around looking for her, and she just knock on people's doors and be like, "Hey, sorry." And I was just like, "God damn it!" Every moment where they just break from like, they're so similar in accent to Americans, but then they have certain words like "sorry" or "beg."
They just give it
Yeah.
away.
And it's great. And then just like how polite they are.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Funny.
It's like Canadians like are basically American. Well, I mean, they are Americans technically,
Yeah.
right? Because the United States annexed Canada, and nobody believes me. No, they are North Americans, but like you're totally right. They don't speak another language, but it's almost like it's almost like a more subtle comparison as like American English speakers to like British English
Yeah,
speakers.
it's way more
you know?
subtle.
Yeah, it's just way more subtle. It's just a couple words here and there because basically, you know, they're from the same place. so it's
They're
pretty
just
cool.
north of the border, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Like, even Alaska has a worse fucking accent. They all sound like Sarah Palin up there.
Yeah. Yep, they
Yeah,
do.
That's just a fact. They're actually all Sarah Palin, and you can't disprove me because, listener, you've never met anyone from Alaska, so.
Also, actually, I have
Not
met
you,
somebody from
listeners. The listeners haven't. And shut your mouth, Avery, and don't make me look like a liar in front of the people.
Alaska. I'm sorry. There's nothing that I can do. This movie actually looks kind of cool. I think I'm gonna look into it.
Dude. I thought it was going to be good bad. It was boring bad. I think
It was boring.
literally every day since we recorded our last episode, I have tried to finish this movie. And I finally did
Oh.
day before yesterday. Because yesterday I went to Halloween Horror Nights. And that was bad.
Oh,
They had dudes running around trying to spook you. Some of them were cool. They had like screaming goat like lady, but it was like forearms and hind legs were both on stilts. They walk going around,
Oh.
and it was just generally not very scary. And the waits were super long, and there was so many people.
That's
And I
unfortunate.
think I was like
Yeah.
the oldest person there. At least that's how it felt, because I like kept looking around and being like,
Oh.
everyone has braces. What's going on? Like,
Oh,
yeah. So I was like,
weird.
yeah, this is too old for this. It was grotesque. The consumerism, not the
Oh.
actual horror. I went through a,
Well,
went through a
shit.
Stranger Things thing, though. That was pretty fun, like a Stranger Things haunted maze. And
That sounds fun.
every
Yeah.
turn, it was like one of the Demogorgons, like doing their flower mouth at you. And the guy in front of me was so funny. Every time one popped out, he's like, ah, it's the same thing. Ah, it's the
Oh my
same
God.
thing. And I was just like,
It's just like the show.
it was so funny, man. Oh my god. It was
That's
like
awesome.
in a creepy warehouse. It's actually very hokey. Like, besides, like, everything besides the fucking, like, I guess, like, the rides are hard to make, and I get that, but, like, all the things they did for Halloween Horror Nights were very, like, this is someone who, like, someone's family could have made this. Like,
Right. Like, and it could have cost like 4%. What it probably cost to like get in there, and the beers wouldn't be. How much did you say, Ash?
$15
For a Duff?
for a death, which was course. It was in Simpsons Town,
Yeah.
and in Simpsons Town, they're literally playing two different variations of the Simpsons theme song on a loop, and I'm like,
Oh,
who wants to be here?
oh,
I
that sounds like vomit-inducing. I can stand the Simpsons theme song for as long as the theme song bit of the show takes.
yeah, that
After that, it's just like I'm good for another 30 minutes at
Yeah.
least.
And
on a loop ad nauseum.
oh my god, dude, it was giving me a headache, and I'm like, this is.
So wait, so it was two different kinds.
Yeah, it was
two different
the
versions
Halloween
at the
version
same time.
and not at the same time. It was alternating normal Halloweeny one, normal Halloweeny one, but they're the same fucking
Oh my God.
melody. Just one hook goes like in the background.
And you were waiting in line for
A death.
an hour and a
Oh
half.
no, that was in a different part of the park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was just like, dude, that's like torture. If you had to do that, that's just like the weirdest form of
No,
torture.
it was great. They had something called Crypt TV, which were these really hokey, like horror shorts, and like
Okay.
there was one where like there was a monster cage match, and the boss was like sicking like a demon on people, and then they put the owner in with the demon, and like one where like friends were hanging out, and this guy's like this girl who's perpetually moist is kind of hot. And she keeps telling me if I kill myself, we can like hang out and maybe like, you know, Netflix and chill.
What?
And so I'm going to keep trying to kill
What?
myself.
Wait, that was really in.
Not
That was
the,
really
not
in
the
that?
Netflix and chill thing. And it was,
But she was just like, "Why don't you kill yourself and we can hang out?"
I mean, that was
Some of
basically.
this ghost pussy.
Ghost pussy is the grossest thing I've heard.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
Ghost
But,
pussy.
yeah, and it lasted like an hour and a half of just like watching these shorts, and I'm just like, and then all these obnoxious fucking people that were the teenagers and their
Yeah.
parents, and I'm like, everyone sucks.
All right. So, and I'm back
All right.
after displacing my cat.
Jesus Christ.
So you watched The Heretics. You went to Halloween Horror Nights, or Halloween, however you want to say that. I can't believe it's almost Halloween already. And by Halloween, I mean the full month of October.
Are you
So
gonna
fucking
Are you gonna
excited.
dress up this year?
Yeah, I think Sid and I are gonna be Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World.
Oh God, that is
Yeah.
a classic
Duo, right?
duo. I think
So that's gonna be a good one.
honestly, I hate the show How I Met Your Mother, but one of the best like third wheel costumes is salt, pepper, and cumin.
Cumin.
Like you would be a
It's like-
salt shaker, yes, it would be the pepper shaker, but then I'd dress up as a shaker of cumin.
Like, oh, you're cumin? Okay.
No, you know that some drunk dude would be like, "Why does your shirt say cumin?" And then I'd be like, "I hate everything."
Why did I do this?
But every time they asked me, I would pretend as if I was having a spontaneous orgasm until they left me alone.
Oh,
Oh God, Avery,
just like that.
you're right in my fucking ears, dude.
Do. Right like that. Oh God, that's so embarrassing. I'm not gonna edit that out.
Oh, our poor
Oh,
listeners, they're just going to be like, that's the moment they're going to get pulled over. They're going to roll down their window and just have you going,
Can you rate this 5 stars, sir? That's what the cop says. It sounds
Sir,
like.
I saw you were going 0 stars on a podcast. Do you have any
Please
idea?
rate this, sir. No. Well, I don't know. If they're listening already, they're driving down the road, listening to us. Most likely, they've already given us 5 stars.
You think we have 18 listeners?
No. I don't know. but maybe. Well, anyway, so now that we did that, I think it's time that we start talking about It Chapter 2.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think we should get into the budget breakdown. I'm going to call it over by offering it a little bit of its favorite kind of food. Hey, budget breakdown, I have some German potato salad for you.
This is the budget breakdown.
German. And here it is.
He loves German. It's the vinegar and the mustard that really gets him going.
Oh, delicious.
Yep. Oh, I don't have a production budget for this. Should have looked that up. Okay. The estimated budget. is around 80 million. As you recall, It Chapter 1 was a $35 million movie. So,
So
it's a lot.
definitely inflated a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I wonder where that went. Because the effects didn't look any better in this one. Maybe it was just the acting talent was more expensive to hire.
I mean, I think that's fair. It is like double the cast. Also, they got a Stephen King cameo. Is it just me, or does Stephen King kind of look like a white version of late Michael Jackson?
A little bit.
A little bit, right?
He's very old now. Stephen King is. He's getting there.
He's kind of an asshole too in that movie.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I think he's an asshole in real life too.
That doesn't surprise me. I think
he's a writer, and he likes being creepy and being alone. So I almost
but it's also like 2019, and no one reads books anymore. So like,
that's true.
Yeah. Hey, don't
wonder,
fuck books.
Yo, fuck books.
Yo, fuck books. I don't even know how to read. Yeah, I'm proud of it.
This is why I don't read.
This is why I can't read.
This is exactly why I can't read, because of Stephen King and his cameos.
Anyway, the first weekend, this movie opened at number 1 and made $91 million, so pretty easily surpassed there.
Right off the bat, yeah.
And we're still seeing that kind of even foreign domestic, and as of right now, which is, what, like a week out or something? Yeah. It's made $237 million.
237. That's not too bad. It's been out for like week and a half at this point, something like that.
Something like that.
This is its second weekend. So yeah, shit. Well, hell yeah. All right. So I mean, like, I kind of do like that it made money, because I feel like this is the kind of movie that should succeed. It has everything going for it. So.
Excuse you. This movie?
It has everything going for it. Oh, yeah.
That is not... Well, I guess it had everything going for it, but not necessarily perfect execution.
I wouldn't say it's perfect execution. I do think I liked this movie more than you did.
Yeah. We'll get into that with expectations. But
for sure.
I do want to talk about a specific thing that it did very middling in, but still pretty good. It is number 63. Oh, well, let me give you some other stats. Right now, it's 8th in R-rated horror. Wow, incredible. 3rd in Stephen King movies. Wow, unreal. It is the 26th highest grossing movie of the past 365 days, but it is 63rd in Friday money.
63rd on, like, for an opening night?
Just any Friday that they made money.
What?
Yeah.
But that statistic doesn't even make sense. 63rd... And so it made, on a Friday, it made the 63rd most money
of any other, like every movie
that's been out on a Friday.
Yeah.
Like, was this movie released on a Friday, or?
No, it was released on like a Tuesday.
So just like, this is the money that it made on a Friday.
Yeah.
That's a weird statistic. Why did you even find that?
It's Friday gross. It's not opening Friday gross. It's just Friday gross in general. Because some movies get a bump at a later week, you know.
Okay.
Movies might not have the strongest opening weekend, but then they're like, this is actually
Friday. People hear about it. Yeah.
Or it's like a holiday. It's like, oh, this movie came out on Christmas, but people didn't actually go out for Christmas.
Right.
You know. So.
Right.
They
Okay.
go out the next week.
That makes a lot of sense. Movies come out on Christmas. I think that's so weird.
Yeah.
What an odd choice. But shit, okay, so it's 63rd most. See, this is one of those categories where it's like kind of impossible for me to guess.
That's very not true. It's pretty easy.
Really? It's just like probably like highest grossing movies.
A lot of them, yeah.
Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War are up there.
Mm-hmm. Let me just say that Avengers Endgame has 3. And Avengers Infinity War has 1. Avengers Ultron 1. Avengers 1.
Wait, it has one Friday?
Yeah.
I'm not understanding.
Yeah, they have one Friday on like above it. But Avengers Endgame and Infinity War have 2 Fridays that made more money than It Chapter 2.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, shit. Probably a whole bunch Guardians of the Galaxy is probably up there.
We just say Marvel movies and move on.
Yeah, Marvel movies, so that all 22 of them probably fit on there.
Pretty close too.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
Okay.
Winter Soldier is lower down, but
It Chapter 1, I feel like it's got to be up there. Because I know that movie made pretty good money.
37th.
Right.
Yes.
So this movie didn't. Well, I guess it's still kind of early. It's kind of hard to tell just yet.
Yeah, it might
This
make
movie's
more
only been
money
out for
next
a
week.
week, so yeah, it could.
Or I guess this weekend.
Shit. What else made a ton of money this year?
Or anytime.
Yeah, or anytime. Yeah. Are any Star Wars movies up there? I'm gonna say probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Force
How about
Awakens,
some
I think, is
Force Awakens makes sense.
or 2 times before, 1 time after.
Oh, interesting. Is The Last Jedi out there? I don't know
It
if
is.
people really cared about that. Okay, interesting. Fourth, really? Wow, that's surprising.
$104 million on a Friday.
Wow, that's pretty decent.
And Rogue
Sounds like-
One as well.
Rogue One. Is the Solo movie up there? I think that movie got gimped at the box office. Because people were
68th,
like,
so
it's
just
bad.
just below.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm surprised it's on there at all. That movie was one of the ones that came out. Did we talk about Solo?
No. I mean, we've
legitimately
talked
can't
about it,
remember if we
but
talked
we
about
didn't
Solo or not.
review Solo.
So this is a little awkward. Right around here is when our technical difficulties began. Oh, I'm Avery, by the way. I'm recording this way in post. But if you weren't noticing, we weren't quite on our game. Actually, that's not true. We're always on our game. But yeah, so we had some difficulties with Discord. We were like, oh shit, should we even try to go forward? We couldn't get it working again. We were like, you know what? Okay, we're going to double back. We're going to do this. We're going to bang out the rest of the episode at a later date. We did exactly that, and we brought a lot more energy to the second half of this episode for you guys. If you're wondering, yes, this is exactly why this episode is 4 days late. Sometimes scheduling conflicts can, arise. You know how the deal is. But thank you guys so much for being patient with us, and enjoy the second half of It Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5, Chapter 6. Oh my God, we're back. You heard right when, it's perfect. I might even leave some of it in. You heard right when our Discord just crapped out. We use Discord to record because we record over vast distances, and sometimes it just doesn't
I
happen
look
for
it up
us.
sometimes, at late at night, and I cry.
Yeah, I was crying too.
My friend, he's so many miles. Is 1487.
And we have to record over vast distances. That's my crying voice, by the way.
It's the same. That's why Avery doesn't know if he's cried ever.
I don't think I have.
No. We record via snail mail. Every line between us.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's awesome.
We put on cassette.
we mail back and forth. It takes forever, but the quality is so worth it.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive because we get these movies years in advance.
Well, honestly, we're recording right now in the past. We're recording in the year 1997.
Yeah.
We just plan this way in advance. We just have those kinds of connections that we get these films way in advance screenings. It's excellent.
And so we get to temper our expectations when the movies come out. Speaking of tempering expectations,
Boom.
what were your expectations
That was a great
for
segue.
Chapter 2? Thank you. I think it didn't make sense, but we'll just pretend
Doesn't
like
matter.
it did.
That's the name of the game here. Yeah, my expectations, man, were fucking terrible. You shat on this movie the moment you got out of the theater, and I was just like, fuck. Well, I didn't even want to see it. I putting it. I was literally putting it off because I was like, I don't even want to go and see this movie now.
I think when we finished recording it, Chapter 1,
Yeah.
as soon as we finished, we hit end, and I was like, Avery,
Yeah.
Chapter 2 is real bad.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
like, oh no.
Yeah, and it just really set the tone, and I put it off, and I was just like, man, and this movie's 3 fucking hours long, which we'll talk about it in a little bit here because I don't think that's one of its stronger points. But I ended up being I think my expectations were so low that I was pleasantly surprised that this movie was watchable.
Yeah, I mean, definitely watchable. Definitely not good, in my opinion. Definitely, it's visually, still nice. It's a good-looking horror movie for a horror
it did look
movie.
good. Yeah.
But I have a lot of problems with the story, and we will, I'm sure, talk about it. And then I will also roast the ending of this movie,
Yeah.
because that's how you defeat it.
Yeah.
Is by roasting it.
Ash, what were your expectations before we really launch into our pros? Because I know you have to have some pros. I know you do, but I want to hear your expectations first. How about that?
All right. My expectations were I saw this. I was really excited. Number one, after coming out of it, part one, that I saw it like maybe 3 days later. I was very sick, and one of my coworkers was like, "We work in the same like small mini office together. If you don't go home, I'm gonna eat your family."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm going home." So I went home, and then I hate being at home when it's like not a day off. I'm like, am I unemployed? What's going on?
That is a weird feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, well, especially because you work at home, so that's like
God.
a whole different can of worms.
Yeah.
But I went fully just sick and hacking cough to the theater opening night and saw this movie. And I will say that maybe my enjoyment was lessened by the fact that I was slowly dying. Yeah.
I think that could be part of it. I don't know. I remember like you telling me that this movie was really, really bad, and I was just like that seemed contrary to the reviews that I had seen already, and people weren't generally being like it's the best, but they were being like, you know, this movie's totally good, and like it's fine, like go and see it. You'll be one thing that somebody told me that really stuck out of my mind is that they said if you like the first one, you'll probably think the second one's fine. You know, it's a lot. You know, you'll probably think it's totally okay. And that, I think, is pretty in line with what I have to say about this movie, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get into that in our pros section. Yeah.
You ready for this? I got a pretty out there pro.
All right. Yeah, I'm curious.
Bill Hader.
Oh, no, he was the best part of the movie. I thought he was awesome.
If this movie didn't have Bill Hader, it would authentically be like one of the most disappointing follow-up films of all time. He's physically, he's so interesting to look at, and he's like a good actor. He tends to play himself a lot, but I think I just like Bill Hader, and that's why I'm like okay with that. Awesome.
Yeah. So I found that to be one of the stronger points of the movie too. James McAvoy, a little bit of a disappointing performance, but still, he's pretty good in most things he does.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I think that we've learned a very strong lesson, which is that James McAvoy is a better actor when he is not weighed down by hair.
Yeah. Okay. I think James McAvoy is a better actor when he doesn't have to put on an American accent and when he cares about the movie that he's in. That's what I think.
Yeah. I feel like he should have cared about this. I feel like he put more into Dark Phoenix than this movie.
I don't know. I honestly, I disagree. I think he put just as much in as he needed to for Dark Phoenix, you know, just to like get by. But I think he's also just better in general than the script for Dark Phoenix was. So he was doing everything he can, to make it like, you know, a seamless performance. Dark Phoenix was just like that, you know. It was just not there.
It's more like Stark Penis. Am I right? Game of Thrones fans?
Damn. Boom.
Hey,
they're dude leveled.
Freaking owned, my guy.
Fucking owned. So one thing I want to say, I want to mention, because this is an interesting thing that I noticed, and I noticed it pretty much right out the gate, or at least at the turn from the first act to the second act. The 3-act structure is so clearly defined in this movie that it almost annoyed me. It was just like there was very clearly they all meet up, they all have their individual thing where they have to find their icons, and then they all have to go and fight the big bad. It was just so divided like that. And I think that that's an effort to adapt what would be otherwise a very messy story, like to adapt. You know?
Yeah, Stephen King. I think splitting this movie up into 2 movies shows the bad part of his hand.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like Stephen King has a 12-12 with trample in his hand, but the rest of his hand is land. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's a little Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
he's a Green Deck guy for sure.
Yeah, he is. Those thick mana drops, thick books. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely green player. But I don't know. It's just interesting because I've never read the book It, but from what I understand is that, and this is exactly what happened. The second part when they're all adults gets real hokey and weird. You know, and like I think given that they had such a hokey, weird story that they had to adapt to a mass audience, I think they did the best job they possibly could.
I agree in some capacity. I thought that it was really great. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, where they kept roasting James McAvoy for not being able to finish a story properly.
Like always. And it never turned around. Like it never had a redemption.
No, it didn't. I think it was just the director going, wink, wink. I don't know what to do at the end of this fucking story.
Right. And you know, Stephen King does this in every single book. The main character is an author. So I think you're 100% correct. He's saying he's literally saying that he got this unadaptable material and he's just like, I don't know how to fucking finish this movie. How did Stephen King finish this movie? The ending was bad. You know, I think that's exactly what he was trying to say with that. You're totally correct.
I thought it was so self-aware and in a sense very brilliant. I thought that was really great.
Oh yeah. I liked the subtle thing that Bill Hader was in love with Eddie the entire time. I thought that was a cute little turn at the end. It's just because you kind of see it because they're really close, but they're always roasting each other. Bill Hader at the beginning, Richie is his character's name. By the way, the casting choices were excellent. All of the adult actors so well vetted for the roles that the kids were playing. I thought it was a really good job there.
I mean, a guy who carried a movie with 12 actors, the lead actor of Barry, the actor who played the Old Spice guy.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh my God, they're so right. Yeah, I thought the choice in actors that they picked was really, really good. They even looked similar. It was just whoa, they really hit the nail on the head with that. Which I wasn't expecting. Because I don't know if you've seen the miniseries from the 90s, but it gets real stupid in the second part because the actors are all they look like soap opera actors or something. It's so bad.
It's filmed like a soap opera.
It's
a Spanish telenovela. It is.
Yeah.
And again, Bill has a ponytail rat tail thing.
Why?
And it is. And it's but it's subtle, it'll pop up like a jump scare randomly in the shot where you're like, oh, what is that? What is on his head?
That's the real scare of it part 2, at least as far as the miniseries goes.
No, so but I do agree with you that the Richie Eddie thing was really good because they kind of it modernized it, which otherwise it wouldn't have done, and 2 in the first movie, Richie's scared of clowns, and everyone else has a complex-ish development on their fears.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Mike. They still kind of fucked Mike in this movie.
Yeah. Still just not as well executed. Kind of just a crazy dude, and it never really comes to fruition. You know?
Yeah. I mean, he's still basically they're his family still died, but crack. And I'm just okay,
Kinda,
dude.
Right? Yeah, and it's I don't know. I think the biggest pro that I can say about It Chapter 2 is that compared to the 1990s miniseries, blows it out of the water.
Yeah, it's
down.
much better. I mean, they don't have we'll talk about it more in cons, but I think this is I talked about in the first one, showing the perfect amount of Pennywise.
Yeah.
This was a little
overboard. But
a little too much.
You can kind of I see why. I see what their thought process is. It's because it was very successful for the first movie. Bill Skarsgård did a great performance. It was heralded. People loved it. So they're just they're obviously going to capitalize on that. The problem is that it starts to get less and less scary. Every time you see him, he's a little less scary. And I thought that was by the end he's he's just a giant monster. That's not really scary anymore.
Yeah,
but
I will talk about that last because I have a very in-depth description of how I could tell someone who's never seen the movie what the scene is, and I think it's
great.
Pretty pristine.
I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, it's just there's some of the good stuff. They did a great job with the bass hits when Pennywise focuses on something. There's a really good one that I want to bring up is right at the end in that last scene when Bill Hader's yo, fuck clowns, bitch, or something like that, and it's wow, and his eyes roll back in his head, and he starts levitating up. I was fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like they did have. I was less enthralled by the music this time around, but it was still like good. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. It wasn't like an ambience. It was more like a punctuation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it, like still good.
Yeah.
Still good. And the set pieces in Derry were still pretty solid. I thought that
Yeah.
in general, like all the tableaus and like, you know, using that town square and bringing that mountain man back to like,
great, right?
yeah. Which is weird because they inferred that Bill Hader likes bears, but he liked Richie, who is a twink. So,
So
or he liked Eddie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So one thing that I did like is the way they did that whole second act. I thought that it was like an interesting way to break it up rather than
I'm gonna have to disagree. Hard disagree.
Oh, really? Because I thought that some of those like individual scenes when the party is split up, I always think that those are fun. I found that those to be some of the more scary parts of the movie. Not that they were
definitely.
legitimately like they weren't really scary, but it was scarier than I was expecting. How about that? 'Cause
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like some of them were really good.
Yeah.
Some of them were not.
Yeah.
I think that Eddie's was really bad.
Oh, I liked Eddie's. That's the one that I'm thinking of. It was so ridiculous. That just like went
Yeah,
over
but
the
it's
top.
the same thing that you saw in the. It was just not.
So,
I think
did they reuse footage? Did they?
It felt like it.
I think they did, because I was thinking, because I was going through it, and so it Chapter 1 came out in 2017, and Finn Wolfhard still looks like he did in 2017 when they did. So I think they just shot footage for it Chapter 2,
this-
or
yeah.
these were deleted scenes and they just used them for Chapter 2 to fill time.
Yeah, because Finn Wolfhard has now grown, and by grown I mean only his nose has grown, and he looks like no slight on the dude, like rock your look. He still doesn't look. He's a handsome young man, but he literally the only part of his body that seems to have grown during puberty is his nose. It's charming. Listen, Adrian Brody's a very good-looking and very successful Hollywood actor, but it's the truth. I don't know what to tell you. And so when you have these scenes with him in it, you can tell that it was filmed a while ago because in all the interviews he looks like a Hawkman.
Yeah, he looks significantly older now. I think we talked about this in Stranger Things as well. Is that those kids are all at the age where 2 years go by and they look way older. Like they're just at that age. You know, they were like 10, 11, and now they're like 13, 14. So they look like miniature adults now. It's weird, and so it's like, you know. That's why I'm like, this was all either footage that was cut from the first one that they didn't get a chance to use and adapted for the second one to make a cohesive second act out of this movie, or they prepared in advance to shoot it like that. I don't think that they prepared in advance to shoot it like that.
Yeah.
I legitimately don't. So
It really, and honestly, like the big strength of the first one compared to the old It was that it segmented the adults and the kids stuff.
Yeah.
And I think bringing the kids back to this movie almost made it weaker.
it was almost pointless. This movie was already 3 hours long.
Yeah,
right?
and I think that if we had, like, even if they had kept the same length but focused on the character development of the adults, because, like, they had whole things, like, Jessica Chastain is with an abusive rapist, and, like, they just kind of, like, do a scene that's like, oh, we're just not gonna, she's, like, got bruises on her body, and no one's like, hey, you like...
Yeah. I do like the scene where they flip the coin where she tells her husband, like, you know, I'm going out of town because I got to go and visit my friend, right? And he's just like, yeah, of course, I trust you and everything. Unless you're lying to me, bitch, or something like that. And it just
Yeah, and he's
turns,
like-
it's just like total 180. Because you think like, oh, cool, she's with somebody who loves and respects her. But no, there wouldn't be any conflict if that was the case. They're trying to draw parallels to the kid's childhood. So of course she's going to be in a horrible, traumatic relationship.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that was really good, where she's just like, well, Mike doesn't sound like a friend. It's
yeah,
like, okay.
It's like, oh my God. Like, it was a little hokey. It was a little almost over the top. But this whole movie was over the top in just so many ways. So
It was a little reminiscent of the Wraith, where he's just like, if you can't be with me, you can't be with anyone.
yeah, exactly. It was
Let
like
me
the
pull out
same
my
fucking
switchblade.
shit. Yeah, like the same fucking shit. What did you think about what was the bully kid's name who came back around? Was it Henry?
Oh,
I think it was Henry, wasn't it?
yeah, that sounds about. It's like
It was something like that.
Henry Bowers, yeah.
Yeah. So
I thought that was really underwhelming.
I thought it was anticlimactic. It didn't really amount to anything. I loved the idea that he's in like a mental hospital and that but he didn't really have any role in the finality of the film. Eddie just kills him or something. What happens to him?
Yeah, he just
he
like stabs someone and then he tries to attack Mustafa Isaac or whatever that guy's name is who plays Mike, and then he kills him.
Yeah, it's just
again,
like flat and just, which sucks because they did such a good job bringing him around again in the third act of the first one. Seeing that just is really underwhelming. I think they really tried hard to make the second movie mirror the first movie, like beat for fucking beat.
Yeah, and it was too much.
Yeah, they're almost the same movie. You could like substitute one for the other and then do the first one as a prequel, and like it's almost the exact same movie. It's pretty
One
interesting.
of them could have been straight to DVD, and like you would be like, yeah, no, that's about right.
Oh, cool. Yeah, whatever. I don't know, but like it was really interesting to see that they just really just recreated the first movie. There was I think I brought it up in our first part, but there was a sweet callback just out of nowhere to John Carpenter's The Thing. Fucking loved that. I was like, holy crap, why is that in this movie? For no reason. It is straight up.
No reason.
Yeah, just no reason at all. He just clearly really likes John Carpenter's The Thing. So that's fun. If you haven't seen it yet, why are you listening to this podcast? but also
Avery.
But also, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not gonna spoil it because it's a fun little callback to one of my favorite movies. So,
Cool.
But shit, yeah, man. I mean,
But shit.
yeah. I'm trying to think of other pros, and it's really just like that's about where it comes
I like
up.
the ensemble. Like I think that when you put them all in that Chinese, restaurant scene, I thought that was pretty solid. I thought they worked well together.
I did too. I was surprised because I thought that it was gonna just like get stupid. I thought it was gonna be like they're all somber and like just talking. It was gonna be like exactly how Mike tried to make it. Because you know how you have that friend who gets too serious and starts talking too quickly about something people don't care about? That's me, by the way. But like,
yeah, it's also me.
yeah. And we started a movie podcast.
Yeah, you can hire us to come hang out at your party if there are people there you don't.
We'll make you look way cooler by getting really into talking about something you don't care
I'll
about.
get drunk and sad.
Yeah. It's great. Seriously. No, but like shit, yeah. So I thought that that's how it was going to be, and they were going to be like, whoa, like, oh my God, it's coming back. But I like that they kind of just like thought that it was like a reunion just for no reason. And then they had to do all the crap CGI just in like the full light. That looked really bad. That looked really bad. I was a little like, because I thought the scene was cool when it was just all of them hanging out, and then they, and it kind of deflates the fear when like you have like a waitress that comes in and sees, and like the camera cuts to like, oh, it's all not real. It's just like, oh, so none of it fucking matters.
Like, and they don't fucking like. I know they don't remember, and that's part of it, but they know it's not fucking real.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They learn that as children.
Yeah.
Another great scene was when the kid walks up and says, I know who you are, or he says something really weird and ominous to Bill Hader, and he's like, what the fuck? I'm gonna fucking murder you, kid. And like the kid's like, I'm a fan of your comedy, dude.
Yeah, like the fun's not over yet. Remember, the fun's not over yet. Yeah, it's just like, oh. And that's the kid that appears later that James McAvoy tries to save. And I'm still trying to toss it up. It wasn't very clear. Was that kid even real? Did that kid even really exist, or was it just like supposed to be a trick that Pennywise is playing on James McAvoy?
I think he was like doing cycles to fuck with him because he's like, well, you couldn't save Georgie, so real life's scarier than not real life.
Yeah, like that's what I think. I think it was all fake, just to like capture, James McAvoy's character. What was his fucking name? Bill. Yeah.
Billy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know. Interesting scene. He tries to go into the fun house to save the kid, and the kid just gets murdered. Still, once again, did not skimp on the kid murdering in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did it on screen, did it off screen.
Yeah, fucking
Mr.
excellent.
Machete
Oh, yeah.
has a basement full of them ready for sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hail Satan. He looks like someone who would like play Satan in a movie too. He had a cameo in this movie, and I'm just like, dude, you have not earned this. Why does everyone think they're fucking Hitchcock, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into some cons. Let's fucking do it. I'm ready.
Yeah, there's definitely some bad stuff in this movie, man. I want you to start because I just want to talk about it because I think my cons are always kind of just like eerie feelings I have in the back of my mind until you vocalize them, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I noticed that too. You're right. So let's hear it, Ash. Give us a
There
con.
were maybe like 40 minutes of just fucking boring nothing
Yeah.
in the middle of this movie.
Yeah.
And a big part of that boring nothing was involved in this token hunt. There were great scenes in it, don't get me wrong, but the token hunt itself comprised most of the really boring
So
part
the
of this movie.
totality of the second act was boring for you. That second
Most
act
of it.
slump. They're all
Yeah, there was a
yeah.
there were a couple good scenes, but like, you know, one of the best ones was Bev's scene, but that was the first trailer.
Yeah.
And they showed all of it.
Yeah.
And
They
so
showed the
that
whole
wasn't exciting
thing
for me.
in the trailer. Dude, that was when I was like, I'm getting up to use the bathroom. I already know what happens here. I've seen this trailer 100 times. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good scene, but I mean,
But
that kind of ruined
totally
that.
deflated. I was like, I don't even care. I've already fucking seen this. And then,
Yeah.
did you notice in the trailer that they cut the trailer right before the bad CGI Blair Witch runs in?
Oh, and that was so.
It was
how
really
they got
bad.
so much more money, and they made it look. It looked so bad.
looked like shit.
Like the CGI.
The money
looked
went to
so-
the actors. Is like
Yeah.
really what happened because you don't have to
Oh,
pay
totally.
children. You know.
No. And the big thing about that middle half deflate was that in the end, the thing that they did that whole 40-minute fucking bullshit for, it doesn't kill him. So fuck
didn't
you
even work.
guys.
Yeah.
It didn't even have to happen. Like, you could have moved those scenes other ways. And also, Stephen King, what's your weird thing with Native Americans? I don't fucking get it.
It's like I don't know. Maybe they were scarier in the 70s and 80s. People just didn't. It was more
They
mysterious.
were all in hair metal bands, and we didn't know.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think, but like there are a lot of like even in like Salem's Lot, there's like or not Salem's Lot. What am I thinking of? Pet Cemetery.
Pet Sematary?
Yeah, there's like an Indian burial ground. It's just like it's like whatever. I don't know.
It's like he's got a weird thing, and then it's like, yeah, let's do ayahuasca and like do this terrible blur effect.
Oh yeah.
To do
yeah.
exposition really poorly. I'm like, oh great,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
is
man.
going
Yeah, that
well.
was fucking bad. Yeah, that was Mike's entire role. In the, I do like that they kind of gave in the first act they gave Mike a little bit more of a fucking what am I trying to say?
Character?
Like not even it's hardly even a character. They gave him a role, just like
Yeah, they gave him back historian. Like that's we were talking
Yeah.
about in the last episode. They took it away from Mike in the first movie, then just gave it back to him in the second movie.
Yeah.
Like what? Just make him the historian the whole time.
Yeah, just the guy who researches this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Whatever. Maybe they thought it would flow better for the first movie, and then they were like, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do with Mike?" So they had to change it, making Ben's character kind of fucking pointless. Except he's in love with Bev too, and that's like it. That's like his whole character.
That's his whole character.
Yeah.
Well, also he got rich and hot, and so now
Yeah.
he's lovable.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you can love him.
Yeah, because you can't. If you're fat, sorry. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen.
You're fucked.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. God,
Yeah,
it's
no
so
one's-
fucked
no.
up. It's like the worst thing.
It's when you can tell that someone's like culturally not from America, like or at least like modern America,
Right.
and you're like, oh, you have kind of these old fashioned,
Yeah.
like you just haven't caught up yet.
Fucking
The
ridiculous.
ending, I have to talk about.
Oh, when they
So I
all
would
just group up and they talk shit on Pennywise. They're just like, you're
Listen,
just a
it-
fucking little clown bitch. It's like fucking, there should have been like an ICP track. An insane clown
there's
posse.
yeah, there's like
Homies.
there's 4 elements. Number 1, it turns in, or Pennywise rather turns into a spider version of the sandworms from Beetlejuice, and walks around for about 40 minutes. Then Roastmaster General Jeff Ross and Wilbur Valderrama from Yo Mama come out and tell him they have to roast him.
Yo,
then he
dude,
turns in.
bitch.
Then he turns into Baby Voldemort from Harry Potter 4.
Yep.
And then the movie ends, and I'm like, the fuck is this? I'm sorry, what are you sending me a song now?
Dude, it's Insane Clown Posse. Homies.
Oh god.
Don't worry
Why
about
does
that.
he's like,
Dude.
He's like Scary Fieri.
Yeah, they
It's like
all
if the
homied
Spice
up and they
Girls
just
were-
talk shit on a clown. They're like, "Yo, you're a little clown bitch," and like it's just like that's the hokiest shit ever. It's so Stephen King that it's just like
Yeah.
he is the embodiment of fear, and you just have to believe that like you're magic and you'll be able to kill fear itself. It's just like. Ugh.
Which is, the fact is, not being afraid of Pennywise was established a full movie ago.
Yeah, so they have to-
as like a way to defeat him, and
Yeah.
but this time it worked, and I'm not sure why. Is it because they believed in themselves?
Well, they didn't let him
Like,
get
the
away
fuck?
this time. So the first time they let him get away, and they're like, maybe we really defeated him, even though he clearly like slides down into the hole, like which is clearly his hideout. But it's okay. It's okay. Like the first movie lets it happen, sets up a sequel well enough, you know, and then the sequel just is the same movie again. So whatever.
Yeah, he didn't even get scary. He got like less scary. I mean, like
Did get less scary, especially because they're adults now and they can just like punch him. You know, like.
I mean, they did that in the first movie too. To be fair,
Yeah, that's true. They like threw stuff at him. I did like the iron spike, and Bev's just like, it could kill monsters if you believe. It's just like, oh, this is like a fantasy MMORPG now, and like excellent. And so he throws it, and like you think it's dead, and then it's not. And I whatever.
it kept doing that back and forth, and it became less and less effective.
Yeah, I really did.
And then they're like, "What's the dumbest thing we can do to Pennywise?
Talk
That's the thing
shit.
that will actually beat him."
Just a fucking clown bitch.
I left so disappointed after that. I was like, "Really?" And it was so long to get to that,
Yeah.
and it just felt like
Deflating.
not worth it.
You know what you know what I think, Ash? I
What?
fucking loved it. Fucking loved it. I thought it was the dumbest, hokiest shit. I was like, man, they have this huge franchise that's based on a ridiculous hokey book, and they had no choice but to end it like that, because like that's pretty much what happens in the book, at least as far as I know, and like. I don't know. I thought it was great. I was like, this is so stupid. But at the same time, it was just like, I was like, oh, wait, cool. Hell yeah. They conquered fear itself by talking shit to a clown. Bam. Town is saved. It's dead forever, we think. You know, I was like, there you go. That's all I wanted. Now, could it have been done in an hour and 50 minutes? Probably. Probably. This movie was
it?
so long.
Oh, it was painful, dude.
Yeah.
And like so much, they gave so much care to stuff you don't care about. No one liked Stanley from the first movie, and they spent like 20 minutes talking about Stanley
Yeah.
and like crying about
Like-
it. Which, like, I get it, it's
Yeah.
sad, but like we as an audience don't care.
I think like they would be remiss to not develop some sort of remorse for the death of their friend. Think about how like phoned in it would feel if like they all just move past it. Like they find out he's dead and you're like, oh wow. But
I
then
get
they're all
it.
like, we gotta
It's
kill
still
a
not
monster.
interesting.
You know?
They could have just not known that he committed suicide, and then it would have been fine.
Yeah, but then people would have been like, or they could have shown the audience, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
think they had to learn about it. I think they had to have a grieving time to make it feel at least a little more realistic, but it still was one of the weaker parts. Stanley could have just not died.
Totally. He could have
Right?
he could have shown up at the end and been like,
Yeah.
I'm here to like.
Fuck shit up, bitches. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a little clown bitch.
You can't outrun the Jewish.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just like you're totally right. That was completely unnecessary.
There was a lot of points like that, though. I mean, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I get that, like, a lot of the establishing stuff, but a lot of the establishing stuff is not interesting.
And
Like,
also didn't really go much of anywhere. Like the thing is like they had one too many characters, and writing that many adult characters into a movie like this would have made the movie even longer if he didn't die. You know?
they should have done Chapter 2, Part 1, First Blood.
Exactly.
And then Chapter 2, Part 2, First Blood, Part 2.
Think of the additional 15-minute scene that would have been necessary if Stanley didn't kill himself. Do you see what I'm saying here? It's just like
No, I get what you're saying. I think that they put a lot of weird emphasis on things that, like, I was more interested in, like I don't know, like, what's Bev's deal? Like, she's in
Yeah.
an abusive relationship and she can, like, see dreams of how everyone's going to die. And they're like,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it for about 2 minutes.
Yeah,
But,
and then they just
you know, it's like
it's like
they put
sorry, go ahead.
emphasis in weird. No, they just put emphasis in weird places, was all I was saying.
Yeah, it's like they did that to like almost artificially develop like a sense of urgency. Because there's even a time when Bill Hader's just like, whatever, we'll just wait till the next 27-year cycle. I'm not fucking doing this now. And then one of them is like, well, we'll be 70. And then they're just like, and also we'll all kill ourselves before then, before the next 2 years are up or something like that. It's just like, ugh. Of course, there has to be something that's just like, we got to do it now and we got to do it right, you know? So, I don't know. I think the fact that Mike just did all this research and just like figured out we all got to get totems and like the Native Americans and this and that, that was the most unbelievable thing out of everything.
That was, and then he like doses James McAvoy with ayahuasca.
it never
you
comes
can
up
tell
again.
It never comes up. He like never explains it to people. He's just like, no, he's right, and everyone should be like, yeah, dude,
You did ayahuasca.
you were our leader when we were 12.
Yeah.
Like, why should we believe you?
Yeah.
And then like, also James McAvoy confirmed has never done a drug. I think
He was like, whoa, did you put something in my drink? That was so dumb. Oh, that was so stupid and hokey. It's just like,
you can't beat the beast.
yeah, right. It's I can't unsee him as the whatever it was from the fucking, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I can't unsee it, dude. It's just like that's who he is. So I don't know, man. That was it. Chapter 2. It's just
It was
like it was so middling, and it was just way too fucking long. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
there were some good fucking parts. There were some bad fucking parts.
There were. I think that we could do an edit and make the movie better. I feel like if we edited this movie down to an hour 50, I think that you could actually make it pretty solid.
Yeah, I think I would go back in time and take Stanley out of the first movie entirely.
Yeah, just not because his scare was not interesting.
Yeah.
He was barely in the movie anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. We're being authentic to Stephen King stories, but they need to be edited. Like, I don't know who
Truncated.
got on his contract that he doesn't get an editor for any of his books. But
Man, it's like once you have one book that makes that kind of money, it's just you can write whatever the hell you want. And also, like decades later, they like re-released a lot of his books with like the unedited version that's like 200 pages longer. There's the book The Stand came out in like the 80s or whenever, and it was like more than 1,000 pages long. In like 2004, they re-released it, and it was like 1,200 pages. It was like so much longer. It was just of stuff that doesn't fucking matter, you know?
everyone should be very concerned about Stephen King. I think that's fair. I think that this is like concerning behavior.
I don't know. His books have been a little more like trim, a little more reasonable to read, from what I can tell.
He's just gonna start writing young adult books that are no longer than 135 pages. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think he chilled out a lot. I think in the 80s he just did a lot of drugs, and I think he was just writing all this crazy ass shit and people bought it because they liked his name, and like the books just sold. They just worked. And then you know, nowadays I think he probably doesn't do drugs at least as much. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But like he's able to write a little more like slowly and level-headedly. But good for him. He's clearly making a ton of money off of this kind of thing. And, you know, I think that's awesome that you could be like a modern writer who is able to write some of the most ridiculous crap, and like it sells and people make movies out of it, you know? And it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
good for him.
granted, most of them are not good.
I don't know. If we like...
Most of his movies are not good, Avery. I'm not going to have this argument with
If we
you.
assembled all of them and watched them in order, and then like decided
In order?
you know,
Like there's an order to them, Avery?
I don't know. I
Do
mean,
you
like
hear
in the
yourself?
order that they were released. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like
I'm
go
this
through and
isn't-
like, you know, like watch them all and then be like, some of them are good. I bet you more than likely most of them are just pretty middling, and then some of them are probably like yikes. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the Stand? That's gonna come out some
new
fucking
show?
day. I'm sure it's gonna. Wait, is there really already an adaptation of The Stand coming out?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was just kidding. The Stand movie.
I remember trying to read The Stand. Yeah, I was like 10. Yeah, Amber Heard is going to be in it, which is not exciting because
Stand miniseries confirms Alexander Skarsgård. So they're getting another Skarsgård, of course.
Amber Heard, Whoopi Goldberg, James Marsden.
Wow. Fuck, man. That is just so unnecessary.
Marilyn Manson's going to be in it.
That's kind of cool.
Shoot me.
I like Marilyn Manson. Why not?
I don't want to watch him act.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point. But he's going to be Randall Flagg. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm probably going to watch it. Let's see.
I mean, I'll probably watch it, but I probably won't love it.
The Stand is like one of those books. I read the entirety of The Stand. And it's one of those books that the beginning with like all of the like the plague going around and stuff like that is fucking awesome. And like as people are dying, and then it's like a post-apocalyptic world, and then it's like 800 pages of like 100 people building a town, and then it's like 200 pages of them killing like a demon. or like what's supposed to be the devil, or like, but it ties into like all of his Dark Tower stuff too, which is really why I read it, because I wanted to like see, but whatever, man. I don't know if it needs to be adapted, but I mean, like inevitably they were going to do it again, so
yeah, they're gonna have to wait a while to do the Dark Tower again, because that was
it's done. It's dead in the water, man. I don't think it's ever gonna happen now. I legitimately, see, the thing is we do live in the age of a cinematic universe where you can build that kind of a story and have other stories tie into it. But honestly, I think that they screwed it so bad. I just don't think that they're ever going to attempt to touch it again. Maybe in 15 years. Like maybe. You know, it's so far off.
Who knows? Idris Elba might revive it after his tour de force and Oscar-winning performance in Cats.
Oh, Christ, man. So bad. Well, who knows? You never know. But shit, man. We're coming to the end of our thing here.
Do you want to do some 5 words?
I think I do.
Why do you hit us?
Yeah. Oh. 1, 2, 3. All right. Ready for this? The Stand doesn't need to, and I'm going to borrow a 6th one from the next episode, happen.
So you get 4 words next episode? Yeah. You're not going to remember that.
Well, don't let me forget. Listeners, comment and give us 5 stars, and don't let me forget. Avery gets 4 words next episode. Is that how we? You know what? There's no fucking rules. Whatever. It's our show. Fuck them. 6 words. Who cares anymore?
Did anyone ever?
Nobody cares. Nobody listens this far. It's going off the rails, man. I'm saying it. 6 words.
God.
You can take a 6 word. Who cares? No rules. What are they going to do? Arrest me? But yeah, The Stand doesn't need to happen. Like, Christ, man, it's so long. It's just like, it's going to be another like of the same thing that we saw with It Chapter 2. It's going to be like, it's fine, whatever. It's just like, they're just going to progressively go back through all this Stephen King stuff because it started making money again. That's what I think.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, whatever. You know, what can you do? Yeah, man. It Chapter 2 had some pretty good parts. I was like, shit. Like there were periods of time where I was like legitimately enjoying this movie. I thought it had some kind of the fun, lighthearted humor. Even towards the end, I think it had some of the fun, lighthearted humor. I really enjoyed Bill Hader in this movie a lot. I just really like Bill Hader. He's just great. You know, it had some stuff really holding it back, but to be honest, I feel like I generally enjoyed this movie. It being too long, like, just really fucked it up. Like, man, this should have been a 2.5 hours at the absolute longest. Maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes if like they really, really wanted to hone it down, because there was a solid 40 minutes that they probably could have cut out. But I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. I'd say it's just generally passable. I'm gonna say don't go and see it in the theater, because you will end up giving away your entire evening. Like for real. Like,
also, let's not encourage this.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it ran its course.
Yeah. It's done. It's not as good as the first one. Thank God they're not gonna like try to threequel this one. That would just be exhausting. It doesn't need to happen.
They're 70. We get the Golden Girls on.
Right? It's just not. It's fucking
Betty White plays Bev.
Arnold Schwarzenegger plays.
Ted Danson is Billy.
That's actually great.
Actually, no, do it, but we're directing.
Oh my god,
It's us now.
Yeah, we get to pick everyone. Sylvester Stallone plays just Sylvester Stallone. He's just in the third one.
He's Bill, or he's Mike.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Denzel.
Yeah,
Or no, sorry, not Mike.
Denzel
That
Washington.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, Denzel Washington is Mike.
Sylvester
and then,
Stallone's Ben.
Ben, yeah, perfect. Because he just gets more and more steel jawed
Yeah.
to the point where it's disgusting.
And where he just can't even talk. He talks like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't do Sylvester Stallone. But shit.
Trying to think, Jack Nicholson can be Richie.
Oh god. Jack Nicholson just like doesn't even know where he is.
Give me the bat. Give me the bat, Beverly.
Oh yeah. There was just a slight little callback to The Shining in this one.
Not earned, but
Not earned at all. I see what they were trying to do. Don't think it was worthwhile, especially with Doctor Sleep coming out. It's
Yeah.
like it's
How
out of
dare
nowhere. Like somebody's probably. I don't know. I don't know if Doctor Sleep is going to be good. I do like Ewan
No.
McGregor. I don't think it's going to be
Yeah.
good. But
yeah.
but well, we'll see.
He's the only name. Yeah.
Well, shit. What do you think, Ash? Give us 5, 4
All right.
words, 6 words, 7. Who cares?
I got 5 words.
All right.
Pennywise. Movie bad, Bill Hader good. Oh, no, don't need the Pennywise in there. Movie bad, Bill Hader good.
I was like trying to count syllables. I'm such a fucking idiot.
It's an iambic pentameter.
Beautiful.
So I was really disappointed by this movie after seeing it so close to It Part 1 in the theaters. The length, the middle section that wasn't actually like useful to the plot in any way. Kind of breaking up that ensemble a lot and like giving screen time to characters who I didn't think were strong actors, like Ben and like Mike, which is also a bad movie, like Mike. Yeah, I was really disappointed with this movie. They had some good moments, don't get me wrong, but by and large, I felt like I was robbed, and that last fucking fight scene was so long and so drawn out. Normally, I'd give a movie like this that really disappoints me, kind of like Grindelwald, I'd give it a 2 out of 10, but James McAvoy had hair in this movie, so it's a negative 15 for me.
Oh
Worst
my
movie
god,
ever.
you're so ridiculous. Movies just keep getting worse for you. That's impossible. Well, I guess I already like totally destroyed that there's no rules barrier, so whatever. Fucking negative 15. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's a negative 15 for me, Doug.
Yeah.
James McAvoy, take the hair off. It's good for your career.
Yeah. All right. Well, shit, man. There you go. Well, thank you guys for
was it.
listening.
Part chapter 2.
Chapter 2, part 2. We did it. The movie.
First Blood.
Second Blood. Who cares? Whatever. There's no rules anymore. Stephen King movies make money now. Who freaking cares?
Six Blood.
Yeah, Sixth Blood. What do we? Oh my God. Let me try that again. What are we watching this week? I don't even remember.
Mulholland Drive.
Oh, that's gonna be really great.
Which is a sequel to the film Drive.
Yes, it is.
A lot of people, and a prequel to the film Baby Driver.
Ah, beautiful. Actually, Baby Driver is the prequel to all of them.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
You got to be a
Baby
baby
What was I
baby
thinking?
driver before you drive to Mulholland Drive, which is
Yeah.
it's the perfect threequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna do that. We have to like watch that tonight and record it tomorrow. So fuck, man. We're grilling it. Okay, we tried really almost hard to get this out on Friday for you guys, and it just wasn't gonna happen. It just collapsed in front of
Yeah.
our faces.
Yeah. Discord was just like, no,
Yeah.
you're not allowed.
Yeah.
So we're sorry about that. We're still getting you all the content you signed up for this month.
Yeah.
It's also free.
It's also
so
fucking free.
Fuck you.
What are you gonna do? What are you?
Sue me?
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Come on. Also,
For what?
Also, on top of that,
Manslaughter with my car last
this
week?
was a fucking bonus episode. So
Yeah.
here's your bonus.
More than, and you know what? It kind of boned
Yeah.
us. Now our schedule sucks.
Yeah. So now you know what? It's gonna be okay. We're gonna try to get everything back on schedule. We're gonna make sure everything is coming. You're gonna get 2 episodes this week instead of last week. There you go. You had to wait a little bit,
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry I got mad.
But shit, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be talking to you next week for Mulholland, or this week for Mulholland Drive, and I'm frankly kind of looking forward to it. This movie's supposed to be really good.
Yeah,
so.
me too. Yeah,
But
for sure.
hell yeah, guys, we love you all so much. Goodbye.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.